So today we are going to talk about how to deal with people whom you can't divorce. We may have 500 to 5,000 people in our contact list, on our cell phone, on our contact book. But we are not close to everybody. Not everybody can affect us where it will affect our happiness permanently. So this segment is totally devoted to the people who can truly affect your happiness permanently. And if you really look at that, I believe that it falls between 20 to 50 people at the most in any single individual's life where these people can truly affect your happiness permanently. The people who will be included in this would be obviously spouses, children, long-term friends, co-workers, partners, and certain other extended family members. So how do you deal with them? We all know that in those circumstances we come back and say, I can never win this. Even though we said that in desperation, we are probably very true. Let us accept the fact that the people who has an ability to make us permanently unhappy, we will just never win against them. And I call that, these are the people you can never divorce. So how do we deal with these people whom we can never divorce? Relatively speaking, it's not that difficult a task. It's difficult to understand and difficult to implement initially, but once you get used to it, then it becomes a part of life. The first and the foremost requirement of dealing with people whom you can't divorce is never set ultimatum that we are not going to follow through. This is the mistake most of us make. Let it be our children, let it be our partner. If we say, if you don't do this or else I'll do this, and that's a complete elimination of relationship, that's an ultimatum. And I strongly advocate that giving ultimatum that we are not going to follow through, or we are going to follow through with a lot of pain, is probably not worth doing it. So the best approach is not to give ultimatum, but present your position and say, here is what I think we should be doing, or here is I think you should be doing, and then let the nature take its course, versus saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to completely sever the relationship. The second important rule of dealing with people whom you can't divorce is set the boundaries. A lot of times we have seen that in very close relationships, we really don't tell each other what is expected out of each other or what is each other's duty is. And it's very, very important that we define our duties in those kind of relationships. If you can do it in writing, that's even better. But if not, verbally fine. But if you do it verbally or writing, it needs to be regularly followed up. So there is no misunderstanding on both sides at any time. And once you have those boundaries set, I promise you, there are many instances we will avoid fights, unhappiness, because both parties will constantly know what each other will do for each other. The third point that is important, and which is probably applies in general in human existence, just do what you said you would do. And if you can extend that, when you said you would do. This is probably the most fundamental theory that allows people to be happy. A lot of times we throw out words and we don't follow up. You know what that does? We lose credibility in the other person's mind. Especially people whom you can't divorce. Once they lose respect and credibility about you, it's hard to maintain those relationships. So I would strongly recommend that only say stuff that you're going to do. The ultimate of maintaining this relationship is now becomes one-sided street. And it's important to understand this is very different than our core beliefs. In our core beliefs, we are constantly trying to figure out what is fair, what is not fair. This rule actually goes slightly opposite to that. This rule says, I'm going to expect the least from the other side. When the expectations are lower from the other side, the happiness level goes up because there are lesser chances that I'll be disappointed because you didn't perform certain things that was expected out of you. If we can learn the habit of reducing the expectation from the other party, especially with the people whom we can't divorce, I think it is very hard to break relationships. So in a nutshell, if never set ultimatums, set boundaries of expectations, do what you said you would do when you said you would do, and then have the minimum expectation from the other side. And I promise you, we will never have to divorce the people whom we can't divorce.